Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Ask Marlon show, where we talk about real issues and questions that come from you guys. So I'm super excited to be here. Today, we have a bit of action packed day with someone that's, amazing. That one of my friends who's going to be gracing us with his presence. And just want to say, yeah, if you log into the live, just say, I'm live and where you are coming from. And also introduce yourself. Yeah, like what location you at. And if you want to know anything that's in, I think today we have a marketing guru. So any in that marketing and tech area or, technology business, in the areas of, I'll just put that slide up here. So topics that, um, in management, business strategy, technology at work, or anything in those fields, I'm happy to answer. And if I don't, I will find someone who has the answers and get that to you. So that's the plan. Um, so without delaying, what I'll do is bring up who it is. So you're going to be, talking to Joy today. So this is Joy Abdullah, who is a marketing expert who does strategy and all that stuff. So what I'll do is I'll let him introduce himself. Hi, Joy. Thanks for joining.
Pleasure,
Welcome.
Marlon. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on Ask Marlon. It's a privilege and delighted to be here. And
Yeah,
what do I do? Very simple. You said it, all that stuff. That's what I do.
yeah.
I really appreciate the accolade of being a expert slash guru, but I'll stay with all that stuff. I love that.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think you're a very humble person, Joy. So so let's have a bit of a chat until I guess we have a few more live people watching, so that we can get some questions and answer anything that they have. So Joy, you live in Malaysia, right?
Yeah, I'm in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia at the moment,
Yep.
actually about
So
30 kilometers out of Kuala Lumpur in a semi lockdown, which, oh, I wish it was over.
I was gonna ask you that. So without boring people, yeah, you just came out of like a month worth of lockdown, I believe.
Oh
Yeah.
no, we're still on lockdown. It's a semi-lockdown. What that
Mm.
basically means is, um, I can travel with my wife or my son, two people in a car, up to 10
Yeah.
kilometers from my house, which basically
Okay.
allows us to get to the grocery store or the mall. The mall, by the way, most probably has shut down given economic scenarios. But
Yeah.
the fatigue is catching up. We've had this is the third round. We're having lockdowns, and our numbers, by God's grace, this week the numbers have started tracking south, and I hope it stays that way so that another couple to 3 weeks time we can, well, just get about and out. It's nice not to be in the house all the time or to have to just
Yes.
go for a walk in the park.
Absolutely. So I think we've been blessed with very clean environment for a little while. Every now and then had a couple of I guess temporary lockdowns after. So I wish all the best for everyone in area to hopefully get rid of the problem, and
Yeah.
then we have the vaccines hopefully coming through. So
Yeah, we are
um,
supposed to be getting delivery, I think, in the coming week. The first batch arrives, and our blast up happened simply because in what happened is in December they allowed. Malaysia is a very how should I say? If everybody could drive from their bedroom to their bathroom, they'd actually drive from their bedroom to their bathroom without environmental pollution and all. And my Malaysian friends and colleagues and all will hit me on the head, but even after 20 years as an expatriate, I pull that privilege to say it.
yeah.
We were allowed to travel interstate, so north,
Mhm.
south, go up and
Yeah.
down and everything. And that led to workplaces opening up, and the cluster started now that has come out has actually been from workplaces. It's been large numbers, people going into the workplace, somebody is symptomatic, has passed it on, and boom. So
Mm.
we went through the roof. As I said, it's coming down. Hopefully it'll get better. But yeah, it's done the environment some good. uh, this is not a time we have rains. We are just before
Yeah.
the lunar new year,
Yeah.
48 hours away.
Yeah.
And as I told you, I'm looking out of my window and it's raining. It's amazing at this moment.
Yeah, we had some rain too. So I think, I mean, yeah, hopefully everything will be back to, as I said, scratch, and you can get on with what we're doing. So we had some questions while we, I think, hi, Devani. Thank you for watching, and happy to have you. So anyone else that's, I think, please say hello to Joy and myself. And then, so there are a couple of questions. I think first thing was maybe D, if you want to, bring one of the ones that we had from before.
Yeah,
I'm
shoot,
just
shoot.
some live
Let's
ones.
do
Yeah.
this.
Um, so I'm just trying to think in this one here. I think.
I think there was a couple in the post you had done a couple of days back, or towards the
Yeah,
end of
yeah,
last week, I think. Yeah.
yep, that one
Ah,
there.
there we
So
go. That's
I'll read it. So, has digital marketing strategies and thinking changed during the pandemic period? Can you give some examples? So, yeah, I think it's a really uh, valid and current question in regards to what's happening. So, what do you want to do? You want to share some light on that
yeah,
one?
absolutely, absolutely. Let me break it in two parts, which is
Yeah.
the thinking change and then the example. So uh, the answer to the first part is it's not just digital marketing strategies, but I would play on the word thinking. Human behavior has definitely changed, irrespective of markets. Over a year of this pandemic, the year of having to be inside, to having to adapt and adjust to a very different life from what our normal used to be, has led to a behavioral change. And the outtake from a marketing aspect, the outtake of that change is that in the work that I'm doing, which is primarily on marketing strategy, on business strategy, out across Southeast Asia, covering Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and India, and now I'm dabbling a bit in Middle East, in Dubai. I'm noticing a distinct trend where, from the consumer side, there's a lot more ask about the transparency of what's in it for me. And I'm trying to make it very simple in the sense that consumers across segments, and I work primarily in a B2B service area, they are asking that, all right, I'm going to do business with you, but how does this value add to my business or my work? And shout out to Johan. Hi, Johan. Just saw you pop up on the screen there. So that's number one. The behavior has changed, and that is impacting the way we do business. So a lot of business owners that used to appear, and this is now I'm getting into the strategy side, we used to look at business from a cost and cash flow perspective, have started flipping it to see, hey, I've still got to spend some basics and I'm not going to be able to look at cutting cost. For example, cutting the marketing or the advertising budget during this pandemic time. Why? Because production is low, sales are getting lower, I don't want to hold higher inventory, various issues. But instead of looking at it from a cost, they've actually turned around. Two of my clients have turned around, reached out to their community, and we did an email marketing campaign, and we did a social campaign through content, asking to say, look, we need to survive, we need to grow, we have a bandwidth which can help us go through for about 4 to 5 months, but how exactly can we support? And you'd be surprised. One was in leadership training and development kind of a sector. The other one is a proprietary business, intellectual property business on the legal side. And
Okay.
they went out and they put this out and they said they need to make money. How can they help? And both clients were actually driven to provide information on non-core service. And I'm trying to be mindful of my words because I have an NDA with both of them at the moment to
Okay.
give out names. So
Yeah.
bottom line is the behavior drove a thinking change. The business owner took that on board and started doing something new. And something new is the business went out and said, hey, we want to help, but we need help. How can I help you first? And then they were asked for that help. They gave information from a non-core area. But what that did 3 months later is the community, the clientele, the target groups that came to these people and responded in the first time actually started referring their business. And one of my clients who's in the legal
Mm.
just signed a 7-digit annual contract as a legal advisor for a pretty large organization in Thailand, in Bangkok. Now, so the did that impact digital marketing strategies? Absolutely. How? It impacted the way the content went out and the perspective the content went out. The content started becoming more human. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm not sorry, I'm happy to say this because I am the marketing advisor and consultant out there, and my role and purpose is humanizing business. The fallout of that is here's my benefit. I've
Mm.
just signed with the client 2 weeks ago something that extends me till September, which is why the new contract, the new NDA says you'll talk about us when we tell you to talk about us, not before. So I'm being
Yeah.
mindful. That's in answer to that question. Has
Mm.
digital marketing strategies changed? Yes. Consumer behavior has changed. To leave you with a go forward, how
Yeah.
can you adapt? Just be yourself. And it starts with who you are. Yours,
Yeah.
Marlon, all yours.
No, that's fantastic. I think, yeah. So just be yourself. And I was thinking, I don't know, I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and just to continue that discussion, right? So, so a couple of people, so Dimashi, welcome, Sobia, Mervin, and Sandamini. I think there are few of you saying, yeah. So thank you very much for participation.
Thank you.
Shoot questions on there, so we'll pop it up on the screen and then hopefully go through it. And if we don't have time, we'll come back and answer them. That's the point here. So when you say just be yourself, I think a lot of the world's organizations going through agile and real time. So that sort of comes back to I don't know if you're a spiritual person or a religious person, it'll be like being in the now. So the now is the important part, right? So if, even for marketing, online business, so this whole period I think has elevated the real need to really take into account what you have available now. So if you're
Yeah.
putting content out there, it has to be relevant today, not yesterday, not in the future. And then tomorrow becomes the future anyway. So so it just keeps rolling. So the idea is to keep giving. I think that's fantastic, and those examples are really good. So D, what do we have else? Can you put one more thing in there? So
Yeah, just to take that line of thought, Marlon, while you're bringing up the next query,
yeah.
you see, be yourself is a common phraseology that is being used. And one of the things in this is what I do. I actually
Mm.
create employee personal branding as advocacy, which adds to the service brand
Yeah.
communicating. So what does it do in a nutshell? It's a human being, a personal brand, communicating transparently and building trust for not just the personal brand, but also for the service brand. And
Yeah.
this is the behavior that has come forth through the pandemic now. Be yourself.
Mm.
As I always say, I wish I had the superpower of foresight. You know what? As we go through life, we get hindsight, and we
Yes.
are in today. We start learning. Oh, this was could have been much better. So you get hindsight. Now, if you had foresight, i.e., the action you're going to take today is going to cause that consequence or that reaction or that impact, imagine the insight you're going to get. So I always say that to be in the now, to create the insight, bring your
Hmm.
hindsight, understand what your recipient, whether you're in business, whether you're doing interpersonal communication, what does that person want? Put yourself as best as you can in his or her shoes, very hard, but try, understand the personality, understand the receiving channel. How do they want the content? Because we are different types of learners, and then communicate. And you're absolutely right, Marlon. The life of a piece of communication, I use the word communication instead of
Yeah.
content
Mm.
interchangeably, it's
Yeah.
literally 24 hours. It's here and now. We go to bed, we wake up, it's a different mindset. It's a different mindset because it's a new day. But,
Yeah.
so you've got to be fresh altogether. Let's take the next question.
Very good. I think bring it up here.
Yeah, let's look at that. someone is starting out on an online coaching or teaching business, what steps should they start from apart from creating the course and material? Oh, brilliant. Sorry, at my end, I don't get to see the name. Uh,
Yeah,
Great
sometimes.
question.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry, Marlon, go ahead.
No. Sometimes the for some reason the LinkedIn, the technology doesn't pop the name in, and sometimes it works. So
Yeah, please,
no,
whoever has put in this question, we'd appreciate if you could pop in your name in the comments box so we could
yeah,
address you by name. But
yes,
great question. Let me take a bash at it because, as I said, I'm currently managing learning and development and leadership training kind clients. So your course and your material, they're given, they're status quo. Forget about it.
yeah,
The first thing you do is two steps, please. Step number one: why are you doing this? And to use a cliche, what's your why? Why are you on online coaching? It could be something as simple as, I'm seeing everybody do it. Maybe there's a lot of money to be made in it. I want to make money. That's a great why.
yeah,
Number one. Number two, what and how will your recipient, your target audience, a customer, your client you're going to get, how is that person going to become better? Or how is it going to add value to his or her life? Once you can answer these two questions very clearly and get a very clear idea of who your prospect is,
yeah,
then start communicating how what you do, your course and material, is actually going to change or add value. Change is again has become a bit of a, one of those words where we use it more like and, if, but, then. But you must communicate. You must know who you're communicating to, who needs it, and what is their actual need. So highlight in your communication the pain that you are taking away, the solution you are providing, and bring them gradually to a conversation to say, this is what my course does for you. Boom. Happy that I'm sure you're going to get it. I'm very sure. And please be consistent. Please don't put out a post on today's Wednesday and think that your people are going to line up at your website and you're going to have clients for next Monday. No, you've got to plug away for at least 90 to 100 days consistently, whether you have one reaction, one comment, or zero, before people start getting to understand, hey, Joy's got something he's offering, might be worthwhile to take a look. So
yeah,
put it out that way.
absolutely. And I
If you'd
think,
like to have a separate session on this, I'm sorry, it's sales pitch. Happy to talk to you. And your personal brand needs to stand out to communicate why you're doing it. It needs to
mm,
communicate how is it going to add value to the target audience. It's going to have a very clear target audience. And the best way I can highlight this is, please go into my LinkedIn profile and take a look. You'll see
mm,
where I work, who do I work with, why do I work with them. And in my experience section for my company, it clearly gives the sectors that I work with.
yeah. So I
Hope that
think,
helps.
thank you, Joy. So I think just to add to that is, so you said, number one, why are you doing,
Yeah.
the course? What is the benefit and the purpose of the other person, or the client, or the one who's going to be doing the training going to benefit from. And I would say that's the value proposition that you need to bring out in when you communicate that, in the way that you put it out in
Absolutely.
a website or a lead page or whatever it is. So as I said, Joy definitely is the expert in that communication component, designing it and putting it out there. So hey, Janali, hope you're well. So I think let's go to one of the other ones.
Yeah,
Um,
just remember one thing: when it's online and you're offering a service, there's a tremendous amount of online fatigue. You could
mm,
call it digital fatigue. Please understand that we are between a laptop, couple of screens, and a mobile. Some of us use two screens. I use a big screen to look at my worksheets, and I use a laptop for my LinkedIn work, and I use a mobile. There's an online fatigue, so you've got to take it up to a point where you connect. That first part is very important. Joy and Marlon are speaking as Joy and Marlon, the brothers. We became brothers by being friends. That's stage
yes,
one. That is where the business happens. People buy from people. They don't buy how good you are. Just remember that.
Yeah,
Oh,
your
Rukia, shout out. Thank you. Lovely to have you on
our,
on the
our
on the
little
stream.
sister from Dubai. Yeah, so
Yeah.
she's watching. Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Thank
I think.
you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Um, yeah, Justin. Thank you very much. So I think you know Justin too, and Joy. I would say that yeah, our work is fairly, I guess, cut out to help people to reach their maximum massive potential. So whatever we do helps, and all of us, like Ruka, does coaching and help people smile and realize their maximum happiness potential, and
That's right.
so things like that. So I think we all have a mission to get done. So let's take the next one. D, do you want to pop it up on the screen? So um, do you want me to read that? So most solopreneurs and small businesses struggle with marketing and keeping up with the momentum. What are some tips to make sure they keep their head above the water? So that's a really good one, I think. Yeah, that we had
Very good.
gotten, yeah, before.
Tip number one, anybody who's on the stream and otherwise who's going to see it later, please read my post of Tuesday, February 9th. All
Yeah.
right.
What
Just
I'll do
just
is
read my post.
yeah, we'll put it on the comments too, Joy,
Yeah.
on the.
So here's how, as a small business or a solopreneur, please identify your core skills and delegate or outsource your non-core. Let me explain. I'm very good in the technical work that I do in terms of creating the strategy. But when it comes to writing very specific content or creating a video communication that needs to go onto Instagram, I'll reach out and take somebody's help and actually create a monthly fee to pay. I'm not a videographer. My videos are very bland. They're not even as beautiful as Marlon's is, because I use this blank space in the back and 2/3 of my screen to do my writing. That's
Okay.
my technique, which is not the right technique. So the point here is, identify what you're good at, stick to that, but get a collaborative ecosystem. And I can tell you this, you're going to throw me back and say, Joy, it costs money. We don't have so much money to invest. Trust me, 2 years ago, I reached out to people, and my first statement was, I'm reaching out to you because I need your expertise. But you know what? I'm starting out and I've just rolled out. I don't have the funds to pay now. Do you think we could do something together and earn? I can guarantee you 7 to 8 out of 10 times you're going to have people helping, because everybody likes to have a finger in a pie. And of course, if things don't work out in a couple of months, people will split. But try it. Now, and the last part, if you lose momentum, consistency, persistence, and patience, CPP. I tried to do a CPA, it didn't happen. Consistency, persistence, and patience. These are three hallmarks for your business to really fly. You've got to be patient, because it takes 9 months for a child to be born. It takes 7 years for a bamboo tree to bring out a shoot. If you don't give yourself at least a year in business, sorry, you're not cutting yourself some slack. Two, focus on your core. If you are weak in prospecting or generating sales, take help, reach out. There's enough in our community across LinkedIn where people will spend 30 minutes to 1 hour giving you the tips. It's then up to you to take those tips and utilize it your way. Number three, be consistent. Identify why are you doing it, communicate that. Your story is very important. Your voice, your story, and your message. This is part one in why are you doing it. Part two, how does it change, how does it add value to the target audience. When you bring this together, I can tell you, irrespective of whether you're a solopreneur, a small business, a medium size, whatever classifications we go by, you will see the success. The next is up to you, how you define success: by your cash flow, by your value community growth, by your extra incremental profit on your cash flow. That's up to you. You'll get it. This is
Absolutely.
how you'll keep the momentum.
Yes, I think that was really valuable, Joy. Exactly, consistency and keeping momentum on doing what you're doing. So one of the biggest, I think, issues with solopreneurs and small businesses that I feel that that I've seen happen is that where do you, like, if you look at like 10 things, you become like the deer in the headlight. So you
Yep,
look at this, you're looking at that. So I think what you need to do is focus on like one or two social media experts, and pick the one that's going to help you. Pick the one who can do, pick the one that makes you feel the most usual, or well, what I mean. So
absolutely.
um and like that, the financials, everything like that. So you need to get I would say help in those areas that it actually then hi Rooney, hi there are a couple of guys, Zara. So thank you for joining and chatting. So yeah, definitely with the and the last thing there is that if you don't ask, you won't get. So
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
you have to reach out, and you'll be surprised how many people, like even Joy and people like myself, will give you a hand. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um, humans are really wonderful souls, and most of them will help. And especially in this time, I think I've seen so much of groups and hand holding. So yeah, I think thank you very much. That's a fantastic I think set of answers. Hopefully you can get some when you watch this back, and mm.
I love this question. I love this. I love this question. I love this question. Marlon, read it out before you jump in and give the actual technology. I have one sentence to add. Go ahead. I love this
Yeah,
question.
what is the latest hype in the marketing technologies, and so go
That's
ahead.
my statement is this. Hype is actually, see, hyperbole is the technology. The
Yeah.
more in law they have a saying that if you spin a lie 1,000 times, it becomes the truth. And I'm not going to give the most recent case and example that probably many of us are reading and seeing on mainstream media and other news and everything, but hype doesn't work. Hype today, after the pandemic, a year later, and I'll stick by this statement, people, and Marlon mentioned this,
Mm.
somehow or the other, we have connected to something that is more meaningful within us, that has made us ask this question, that what do I really prioritize and value in my life? And somehow or the other, hype is not one of those things, and I'll put it under the label of truth is coming forward. So if you're going to go for the next shiny object syndrome, there's tons of bling that is out there where technology is concerned. What's out on a Monday is dead on a Saturday. Just remember that. Please evaluate your technology use from the benefit you want out of that technology for yourself, your business, as well as for your community, your client, and then invest in that technology. I think Rukia just put up a very nice statement out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think jack of all trades, master of, yeah. So I don't know. I think
That's
you
the
cannot
hype.
be, yeah. You have to pick the, whatever currently, yeah, what's currently working, and stick to it, and it'll change. Yeah, I think the main thing there, Joy, is that I don't know if you're in a technology, or segment on the market in a business, you need to have some measurements that work for you and your
Yes,
customers and people. So there's no one sledgehammer for everything. There's no one metric.
correct.
So I think it's about really understanding that, and going back to basics, and yeah, basically, as Rukia said, there, hype fizzles out. So when that happens, then basically and this happened in the olden days when I don't know, let's say people were doing IBM mainframe programming.
Correct.
IBM
Correct.
mainframe programming went out of, and so some people got caught out because they didn't go and retrain. Right, it happened to Kodak. They didn't.
Yep.
So it happened to a couple of very, very large institutions that thought that that hype's going to always stay. That's going to be the core product, and very easily, and then you have companies like Apple and Tesla and stuff like that has put their hands on anything and everything, and the ethos and the way that they think, it has kept them in front. You know what I mean? So
See, I
yeah.
agree. I agree. Just to add on, Malan, evaluate technology. If you're a service provider and you're going in and you're evaluating what technology, evaluate technology from an efficiency perspective, and then take, like Marlon is much more learned and knowledgeable in the technology area than I am. I use technology, but from the MarTech stack, and I only use what's required for social listening or bots and stuff like that. But evaluate technology from first, does it make it more efficient, which means doing or putting in that technology in place should free up time for your team and yourself to do something more productive. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, does that technology help? Let me give you a quick, take a minute and give you a quick example. I'm sure all of us have faced this in the banking sector, and nowadays I'm facing it a lot with our telecommunication service provider, where the human element of customer service has disappeared to a robotic IVR, interactive voice response system, which operates, because a smartphone, you can get a visual menu or an audio menu. Could be my age, could be my generation, and I'm willing to take that flack for it. It is the most pathetic customer service that you can ever give. Give me a warm body to talk to who says, "Good afternoon, sir. I see you're calling from XYZ number. Is that your number? What can I do to help?" Because the work can be
Mm.
done in 5 minutes. I don't have to wait 10 minutes to get my menu. 10 minutes of call. So again, a
Mm.
telecommunication service provider at my end has invested tons of dollars in putting up a fancy tech based IVR CSR, customer service response
Yep. Yep.
program. What they're forgetting is the customer is a human being. Yes, you've done fantastic. Somebody out there has sat down and done a cost benefit analysis, said 10 people off from customer service, cost of this, we will earn the ROI over 2 years, done. Boom, they put it in. But in actual service delivery for the brand, you're creating a friction. You know, when you keep somebody hanging on the phone for 3 minutes, just look at yourself as an individual. You call somebody, call on whichever platform, WhatsApp, Telegram, standard call, you call. Chances are we don't really wait beyond 6 to 8 rings if the call is not answered. Next, we are now getting data driven, which means we use more voice messages and visual video bytes to send across as WhatsApps and Telegrams and signals or whatever it is. This is how you evaluate what technology you want to use. Don't put in your eggs into one basket because it's the next shiny object. That's what it's supposed to be. You're killing yourself. You're axing your own feet. From a marketing perspective, my addition.
I think that definitely. I was smiling like crazy when you said that because um, when we
Oh, very much.
spent a couple of days on the road last couple of weeks, and maybe 2 or 3 of the customers actually brought it up, and one of the telcos, or I don't know, I've dealt with one of them anyway, the mainstream ones,
Yep.
did that, and you cannot talk to anyone, like none of the lines,
You
none
can.
of the
You can.
business ones. Yeah. And the only way that I found is that I can get that sorted out by going to the store. So that means like
You're
I'll
lucky.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah. You're lucky you can go to the store. I mean, I could go to the store. It's within my lockdown
Yeah.
restrictions, but they can't help me. They're a third party reseller store.
Okay.
It's a distribution channel. It's totally
Mm.
different from customer service in terms of my
Yeah.
billing plans or talk plans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
I
that,
think one of the main things there, Joy, is that whoever did the consulting part there, the measurements or the KPIs of that was totally wrong. I think because
yeah, I mean,
if you did not take the
absolutely.
customer's sentiment in their communication, into account, then basically you won't,
You're
anyway.
now touching upon a very important part, which will
Mm.
take us away from solopreneurs and small businesses into the corporate sector. And I think if we can spend a minute on that, it's very important.
Yeah,
Malan,
let's do
you'll
it.
also know that when various arms or various units of a business, of a corporate, of a company that's sizable, let's talk about 30, 40 people, employees, that kind of a minimum base, when they are looking at technology additions, right, it becomes a standalone pitch to the CFO and the financial team before going to the CEO. It's what is the value benefit this will do in terms of efficiency, the cost benefit analysis, and a ROI. These are the 3 legs we cover. But what we don't have is, we don't get the management team to sit down from each of their specialization to say, customer service actually says, hey dude, if you put this in, my customer might not want to talk to somebody and wait 10 minutes to ping through on a phone. I'm just being literally pedantic. But spending 2 weeks sitting as a team to evaluate, should we spend the next $1 million on this technology and integrate it, and integration is a separate cost, and ask for that money to come back over the next couple of years, or should we actually pay salary and at the same time look, can we upskill these customer service people to do something else, identify where your brand growth is going to go, what roles can they fit. Two things happen if you go down the latter route. One, the individual is developing career wise. You're not a permanent customer call center person, but you have scope to go somewhere else. The second is your brand is able to talk about people development, a reason why people would want to join you, prospective employees may want to join you. You actually showing how their career development happens. But when you bring in a technology, you put in money, nobody can see the technology, they experience the technology. And then it's subjective. Some days the internet bandwidth is good, bad. I have a good, bad reaction. That's all I'll add to it. This selection definitely needs to come with an organizational KPI where if we have a 70% plus fit, i.e., yes, finance will be able to achieve 70%, IT will be able to achieve 70%, marketing will be able to achieve 70%, then as a team, let's go for it. Then, you know, the integration, the project document, everything becomes more cohesive. People take ownership of it.
Absolutely, Marvin. Thank you. I think Marvin agrees. So, and I think one of the things is I think both of us can talk about this subject for hours. So I think
Oh
we'll
yeah,
leave it
absolutely.
there. But we're passionate about, I think, using the correct, tool or the correct variables, parameters, whatever you call it, into the system what you use to measure and implement. So if you don't do this analysis, and even with this whole solopreneur thing, that question we did before was that if your craft is your craft, you need to be good at it. So we can't
Right.
question that, but it's about how it's received, how it's seen. So that inward, I would say, inward view. I don't know. I think one of the coaches that
Yeah,
I
inward
went to
view.
before called it outside inside view. So it's like the outer view of the inside is
Yeah,
basically how do you need to look at it. So yeah. So I think there
you're
are any
spot on, Manan. You're
yeah,
spot
go
on.
ahead.
I mean, the clients I was giving referrals to, they are extremely technically capable and experts. They're fantastic lawyers and they're fantastic leadership trainers, if I may put it this way. Now, I'm not bothered if you're the best lawyer under the world or the best trainer under the world. I'm bothered with what's your best going to do for me. So, my going into them was, look, start looking at your business from the eyes of your prospect. Now, that starts with, do you know who your prospect is? It's not everybody. There's a certain particular pain. And once you, as a solopreneur, as a business owner, approach it from the other way around, it's not what you know and how you do it. It's how can you solve their pain, their problem, and give them a solution first that comes up. That's your door. That's your content going in, connecting, because you need to have that engagement first. The engagement creates likability and familiarity. And then, hey, I like what Marlon puts out on his live shows. I'm going to ask Marlon about this tech. He's got the authority. Why? Because you're talking on side of you, your personal brand is talking on that pillar. You
Yeah.
talk, you engage, business happens. I think,
And I
can we
mean,
take a question? Do we need brought up? It's a very nice question. Sorry, I love that topic. So uh, before we run out of time, I know
no, no, it's okay. Go ahead. Yeah, we'll keep it
sure.
going. Yeah.
Divini, great question. And let me try and give you a view on this. First and foremost, marketing and company image. Who is responsible for the marketing as well as the image of a company? It's the people in the company. So, what they say about you when you're not in the room, to use that quote, is what
Absolutely.
matters, right? So, what
Yeah.
employees are talking about the company in their Facebook and in their Twitter and in their personal social media feed is then impacting that bit that you wrote in the second part, talent attraction. Because a lot of people who might want to work for the organization are saying, oh, oops, this doesn't look to be the right kind of culture. this person has been bitching about the boss or whatever. So does it impact? Yes. Marketing and company image comes from the employee engagement and the employee advocacy and the leadership that's present in a company. When you take all of these three, the leadership sets the tone for the culture. Culture, if you don't plan for it, is like a weed. It is there, it's growing, you don't realize it. You have a culture. And your culture could be lackadaisical, highly efficient, super toxic. You've not done anything, it's just formed, it grows. So it's better to be intentional about culture, to put down how you care for people, how you grow the people, how you value add to your employees, why do they love working there, how are they adding to the community. And I could go on and on and on, that's my area. But it's the behavior of the leadership by example of their action with their team that then spills out as employee advocacy, i.e., content on personal social media, that impacts the image of the company where talent is concerned. And this is even before HR or talent acquisition puts out all fancy keyword related job posts. And, the job for a senior vice president is all la di da di da versus that for somebody that I need to do window cleaning on Saturdays only when nobody's there. And I'm talking about old physical office. So marketing of a company impacts its image. Employee advocacy, the talk that employees and leadership has, not just the spokesperson part, but the general content that they provide outside, impacts talent acquisition. Hope that's helpful.
Thank you. I think that yeah, that's a very important, I guess, um, yeah. Rukia is
Oh,
asking you,
yeah,
can you share your thoughts on measuring impact? Yeah, we can do that. You want to take that, John?
absolutely. Yeah, I'm happy to take that, Rukia. Thank you for asking me. This is straight up my street. Create impact and influence is what I talk about, what I ask my clients, and I help my clients to do in their marketing. What is the impact? The impact is very simply, when you drill it down, it's a piece of content that creates engagement. Now, let's bifurcate engagement the way we know it. So, you have somebody clicking like, support, love on your content versus somebody saying, Malan, this was really nice. It resonated with me. I'd like to do a little bit more. That third line, I'd like to do a little bit more, probably will come out in 3 or 4 after they've seen 3 or 4 interactions. But that's
Yeah,
impact. Now, you could put a number to it by saying, I'm putting out this content. My target audience pool is 1,000. I'd like to get 100 people in a span of 30 days to come to that third level of engagement. Then I move that group, that 100 people, over to an inquiry management, or how do I talk to them out of social media, through email marketing, through WhatsApp marketing, through Telegram group. Create a community. That's one simple way of doing impact. The second way of impact, you give something. So you have a free giveaway, a PDF, DIY, whatever it is. Look at the number of downloads you get. I'll give you an example. Last year, I was running a collaborative small business marketing tips. And in December 2019, my partner and I decided we are going to target 25 downloads of a simple 20 tips book, ebook. We
okay.
started it on 16th of December. We ended it on 5th of January 2020. We had 67 downloads. I'm still proud of it. But let me also point out, did I get a single piece of business out of that? Zero. Business measured as paid fees contract. But here's the value. The brand still resonates. We went 3 times of our target. So impact, you have to be very clear how you want to measure it, and you can measure the impact. But once you create it, automatically influence flows. And this is where CPP, consistency, persistence, and patient, plays. The more you do, the more you're consistent, the more you're adding to your foundation.
Yeah,
It'll only bring you return in time.
yeah. So that's awesome. Yeah, I call it value. So I use the word.
Yeah,
Obviously, value sometimes has a return in a way that it's financial or whatever it is, but most of the time, value creates value. So it may
absolutely.
not tangible in the way that you can cash it up, but it could be in brand image. You know what I mean? So And if you take value away, then it creates a negative impact. So it has the same
Correct.
reverse effect, So we'll
I
leave
mean,
that.
it's a sorry, Marlon. It's a bit about just switching one thing in your mind. We go into business, or we, as an employee, we doing an activity. You're looking at always the dollar value that activity has to generate. If you can remove that dollar value and look at the relationship value, and if you can identify and put down the relationship value, and I can tell you because I work with clients doing this, it takes a good 14 days, a fortnight, 10 working days of continuous discussions to arrive with, how do I describe, it's not the value proposition, it's the relationship value descriptor, that I work with Marlon, I interact with Marlon because of, and that's that fill in the blank becomes that value I get from Marlon. Maybe the tech expertise, maybe something. But once you
Yeah,
have that pinned down, let me tell you, your communication in your marketing and your internal communications will become crystal. There will be absolute clarity. And when you have clarity, boom, you're on the button.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I think Joy, you definitely has a lot of in-depth knowledge on these things. Not only like the marketing and communication part, but you worked in very large organizations, very consulting view and operational view ones, and so I think to have a balance of that definitely is very powerful. So you definitely can help people in a very impactful way. In as Rukia asked that question, so I think thank you, Rukia. You've been fantastic. I need to get you on this
Thank you.
one maybe next time or something like that. And yeah, thanks for all the questions, guys and team helping out. So yeah, I think we also tried a new time at 5 p.m. Sydney, because I think the previous time was clashing. So try a couple of things. This is our third live session from memory. So Joy, just want to really say thank you so much for your presence and your knowledge and things. So what I'll do is next time, if you have anyone asking marketing questions, I'll dial you in.
Send them my way. Send them my way. No problem. No problem. But
Yeah,
thank you, Marlon. Thank
yeah,
you for having me. It's an honor. Yeah, we started at 5 p.m. because that's 2 p.m. I'm 3 hours behind you. So yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been absolutely some great questions
yeah.
and delightful live. Absolutely. Please
No
keep it
worries.
going.
And we'll put Joy's profile details all on. He's on LinkedIn. Tag him on all the posts so that you can get in touch with Joy. And if you have any questions there, please feel free to ask him. And if there's opportunity for him to help you, professionally in your organization or in your content marketing strategies, I think definitely he'll be happy to help you. So
Yeah,
yeah, so we
absolutely.
got a couple of other ones. Yeah, so I think people are saying thank you very much um, on the feed. So Joy, fantastic. Until next time, I'll say bye to you now, and
Thank you.
catch up soon.
Thank you.